What's up, guys? Sorry I've been away for a while. I've been busy with various things. I know that I always have some kind of excuse when I'm gone, but I think I should be back, at least somewhat regularly, watching films, doing these reviews. And I know that I haven't uploaded in over a month, and I'm sorry, but yeah, I should be back. And today I'm going to talk about Us. And this came out in early March, I think. I really haven't uploaded in a while. But anyway, it's written and directed by Jordan Peele, and it was his much highly anticipated follow-up to Get Out, which won him the Oscar for Best Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay. And lots of people were very excited about this film, and I was really excited about it too. It has a really, really interesting premise. It's about a family whose house is invaded by a doppelganger family. Basically, their house is invaded and their lives are invaded by doppelgangers of themselves. And from that moment on, we have a very, very tense and really interesting film. So as always, I'll start with the things that I liked. Lupita Nyong'o plays the mother of the family, and she has to do the most work out of all the actors, because everyone plays a double role, but her doppelganger has lots of depth to her. So she's really playing two separate characters. The other members of the family seem to be playing sort of similar versions of themselves, or they don't have much to do as their doppelganger character. But Lupita Nyong'o really has to create two distinct characters, and she really, really sells it. You know, sometimes you don't even recognise the fact that the doppelganger is Lupita Nyong'o, and the way that she changes her mannerisms and her style of voice, it's really, really creepy, and she does a fantastic job. All the other performances are really good as well. Winston Duke plays the father in the family, and he has to blend comedy and physicality in the action scenes really well. So he's sort of always telling these cringy dad jokes, but when the time comes for him to actually take action, he also has to sell the fact that he can protect this family. And Winston Duke does a great job selling both sides of his character. The two kids are also really good too, and the way that they interact as a family is just very genuine. You know, sometimes dialogue really doesn't seem natural with families, and you can tell that it's a script, but this felt very off the cuff, very natural. The way that they joke sometimes to make light of the very intense situations that they're in is also quite realistic. The middle section of the film is when the invasion happens, and that's when it really, really starts to pick up. The whole second act is basically sustained tension the entire time, and the way that these doppelgangers move is so scary and so unnatural. It really unnerved me. The way that they talk, the way that they move, was just really, really unnatural and just very unnerving. The musical score is also fantastic. There's one scene, a fight scene near the end of the film, where two characters are fighting, and there's also a flashback occurring, and the musical score is playing over the top of it, and it's one of the best scenes that I've seen in a very long time. I had goosebumps, honestly. The musical score is fantastic. Jordan Peele's direction, obviously, I think this goes without saying, but it has to be mentioned. His direction is fantastic. His use of foreshadowing is flawless. Every single shot in the first act seems to be alluding to some kind of symbolism, or it's setting up a future shot that parallels it in the latter half of the film. And every single piece of foreshadowing that he sets up in the first act pays off really well later on in the film. He really nails the tone. It's funny sometimes. It's tense throughout. It has a great foreboding sense of dread. The opening scene sets up the film perfectly. It also felt quite epic in scale, which is strange to say because it's quite a modestly budgeted film. It was about 20 million. A step up from Get Out's budget, but Jordan Peele really knows how to make his budget count. It really felt quite grand in scope, and I really liked that. So as for flaws, these aren't really major flaws, but the first act is a bit slow. It takes a while to set up the characters and who they are and where they're going. After the great opening scene, things do sort of settle down, and I did want the pacing to pick up a little bit. It can't quite sustain the tension that it wants to sustain throughout the entire film, because if the film had kept the same level of tension from the first opening scene throughout the entire film, it would have been a masterpiece. But it did have some slow moments, and I'm sure some people could see that as the film taking its time, making you wait for those tension-filled scenes. but I want to be more gripped in more of the opening scenes and not just when the conflict immediately started. I wanted to feel more of a sense of dread before these doppelgangers actually showed up. There's also one scene that's really not subtle with its exposition. It's a massive exposition dump, and it could have been done in a much more subtle way. Us doesn't quite come together and cohere in the way that Get Out did, because Jordan Peele's being much more ambitious with his themes and symbolism in Us than he was in Get Out. So he does throw lots of things at you, and this film really does deserve a second watch. But it doesn't quite come together as well as his first film did. But flaws aside, I had a really good time watching Us. It was gripping, it was tense, it was funny sometimes, it was properly scary, and that's what I want in a horror film. I want to be scared, I want to feel something. I'm going to give Us an A-. I really can't wait to see what Jordan Peele does next, because I really believe that he can keep this run of films going. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Us. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you thought, definitely. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and until the next time, goodbye.